All right, good morning or good afternoon wherever you may be. Thanks so much for joining us today for the ServiceMax webinar. Today's topic is Android, iPhone, iPad, and more. Modern field-ready mobile choices for 2015. I'm Nicole Sanders, and I just want to go through a few logistics with you before I turn it over to today's speakers. I know most of you or all of you are logged into WebEx at this point. As you just heard, we are recording the presentation today, both audio and the slideshow, and we'll make that available in the next couple days on our website. We are going to be taking a Q&A session at the close of our session today. However, you can submit questions throughout the presentation. If things come up as they're being covered and you want to just submit your question, you can do that by using the Q&A panel. You get to the Q&A panel by hovering over the green bar at the top of your screen, and there's an option for Q&A. When you submit your questions, please submit them to all panelists, and that way each of the speakers today can see those questions, and we'll answer them at the close of our session. So I'll go ahead and turn it over now to Melissa Morgan, our Director of Product Marketing, to get us started.
Thanks so much, Nicole, and good morning or good afternoon to everyone. I'm based out in Pleasanton, California, so it's still morning my time. Really appreciate you taking the time to join us for our web seminar today. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the new technology that ServiceMax has recently released with our Winter 15 release, and also just our general focus on mobile applications and empowering your field service technicians to deliver flawless field service and delight your customers. So with that, let's quickly walk through our agenda, and then we'll get started with today's topic. So the first thing we'll do is just touch a little bit on what ServiceMax does in our technology, go right into some of the details around our Winter 15 release, which highlights a lot of great enhancements with regards to mobility. And then I'm joined by my colleague, Jay Kamshi, who at the end of our talk today will actually be giving a live demonstration of some of our mobile apps. So if you've been looking at ServiceMax or have just heard about us and are curious about what our products look like, stay tuned because at the end of our presentation we'll be giving a demonstration. And then as Nicole mentioned, there will be plenty of time for questions at the end of today's talk. So feel free to think of your questions and type them in as we go, and we'll be happy to address them as we move through the presentation. Okay, so just to get started, I wanted to start by telling you a little bit about who ServiceMax is. It's our mission to empower every field service team in the world to deliver flawless field service. And what does flawless field service really mean? Well, to ServiceMax, it's really about three things: perfecting service delivery, maximizing your service growth and revenue, and the growth and revenue of your entire business, because service, as we know, is such an important revenue driver, and then also delighting your customers. And the nice thing about ServiceMax when you're out there thinking about field service management and automation is to note that we really are dedicated specifically to field service. And so when it comes to all of the capabilities and processes to really properly automate your field service organization, we have a dedicated products team that's thinking about all of the field service specific use cases and how to automate them properly and how to drive your business with regards to customer loyalty, maximizing service growth and revenue, and delighting customers. And today I'm going to show you some of the product capabilities that we're working on towards that. The other thing I wanted to touch on is this concept of the service delivery chain and how ServiceMax thinks of our solution as really a complete end-to-end field service solution that touches on every aspect of the service delivery chain. And so it really starts with the product purchase. So when your customer goes ahead and purchases a product from you, he can choose from various service plans and pick what works best for him or her. Those plans can represent a wide array of pricing, discounting, or an SLA options. And so you can see here, we touch on managing the service contract or maintenance schedules, tiered SLAs. If a service issue is to arise with the specific product or a location, you can allow the customer to manage it via self-service. You can check entitlements. We even can allow end-to-end remote device monitoring with the ability to have kind of the machines alert you to any product issues using our product pulse capability. And then full work order creation and dispatch functionality to be able to route the work order to the appropriate technician, ensure SLA compliance, and maintain complete partner visibility if you have third-party partners that are delivering service for you as well. And then as you move into the repair function of the service delivery chain, making sure that the technicians have full mobile access. And that's something that we're going to really focus on today with talking about our Winter 15 capabilities, is what that mobility really means and looks like for the technician when he's out on the job actually repairing products and making sure that he's able to fix things the first time and really increasing that productivity. And then back at the home service office, looking at things like work order management and how having that full service history and the ability to collaborate with those service and product experts allows the technician to really be more productive and effective on the customer site. And then as you move into inventory, making sure you have the ability to manage parts and returns, having visibility into trunk stock, and being able to look at forward logistics as well. So our technology is really encompassing all of these key components of field service management and ensuring that you have the latest cloud-based solution to be able to manage your field service operations very quickly and easily. Certainly, last but not least, we look at closing and analyzing, and so the ability to capture a signature right on site through your mobile device, create an invoice, and be able to manage product and service pricing right on the spot. And then looking at analyzing all of these operations at the end of the day. So as the technicians are debriefing work orders and reporting all of this information that you're gathering on the customer site, folks at the home service office are able to start to create dashboards and reports to analyze all of this information for things like failure analysis, profitability, and overall technician and field service productivity. So that's just kind of a look at how we define end-to-end field service and this concept of the service delivery chain. And our product itself has a lot of other capabilities that I'll touch on as well, but I wanted to just give you that concept of overall service delivery chain from ServiceMax's perspective. So now let's go ahead and dive into a little bit more detail in terms of the Winter 15 release, which focuses on some major enhancements to our ServiceMax application. The first thing that we touched on with the Winter 15 release is a completely new design for our iPad application. And so we've really updated the look and feel of this application to make it more consistent with our other mobile devices. Then we looked at introducing a new Android app for smartphones. And so we've now made available ServiceMax Mobile for Android. It's really exciting because Android is a very ubiquitous choice, as many of you know, for mobility with regards to field service and just for business enterprise use in general. And then we're also looking at continuing to make investments to our dispatch console and workforce optimization features, so we'll talk a little bit about that. And we've released a migration tool for our customers, which is something that's going to help them test out the quality of the application and improve implementation processes as well. So the theme of our Winter 15 release this time around is field-ready mobile on the devices you want, which really gets back to kind of the overall theme for today's webinar. And the reason for this is, again, as we've introduced Android as an additional option with our mobile offerings, we're giving our customers and anyone who's evaluating ServiceMax as a possible solution the option to choose the mobile device that works best for your business. And so with our native mobile apps now on Android, iPad, and iPhone, you're able to really choose the device that works best for your field service organization and your technician. And you can even complement those devices so that if you're issuing an iPad as the official company device, the technician may still have an Android or an iPhone in their pocket that they may want to use on certain occasions as well. And so giving that option to be able to use the devices that you want to deliver the best service possible. Okay, so before we go into a little bit more about the specific details of the product release, I wanted to just share a little bit of insight into how we go about designing and delivering these features. The first thing that we look at is what's top of mind for service leaders and for businesses that have field service departments. And industry experts like Gartner, Aberdeen Group, and the technology services industry all point to the same conclusion. And this recent survey from Aberdeen from May of 2014 really gets to this point, that there are three main drivers in any service organization, and it really comes down to driving service revenues, improving customer loyalty and satisfaction, and improving operational effectiveness and productivity. And so at ServiceMax, when we look at designing our mobile offerings especially, we're looking at how can we create features and functionality that's going to help you drive these business levers. And so you're going to see a lot of features that are really focused on improving productivity, things like collaborating with colleagues, and being able to check product manuals and videos on the spot so that I can fix something that I may have had to go back and ask a question about before or called the home office. How can I get all the product and account history right there on the spot so I have all the context of that particular job and that account so that I can be as informed and delight the customer with my knowledge of what's happened with their account previously. Also information about things to reduce warranty leakage so that you can check entitlements and make sure that you really understand whether a customer is entitled to receive a specific service to help reduce costs. And then also, when you're talking about driving service revenues, the opportunity to capture upsell and cross-sell opportunities right out there in the field. And that's one of the things that ServiceMax is really focused on, is focusing on helping our customers drive and increase service revenue with technicians acting almost as salesmen out in the field to be able to extend all of your product and service offerings that are available, make sure they're communicating that back to the home team, and capturing that information appropriately through our technology. The next thing I want to touch on is Field Ready Mobile, and that's really how we define our mobile solutions here at ServiceMax. And so what I mean by Field Ready Mobile is really 5 key points. The first is that we design our mobile applications for field service specifically, which gets back to our main mission as a business. We're really, again, just focused on the service capabilities where you're actually going out onto a customer site, you're dispatching someone, and making sure that you're going to be able to deliver the best service possible. And so when we design our apps for field service, we think about technicians and workers who have their hands dirty, they have gloves on, they need to be able to do things very quickly and effectively. They need larger touch zones on the iPad. They want to be able to use native features like voice to text to read in feedback when they're debriefing a work order. And so all of those types of capabilities are built into our product. In addition, we support the disconnected day. And by that I mean, if you don't have internet connectivity, you're still going to be able to use our mobile apps. They work offline. But I also mean that when you're disconnected from the expertise of being in a physical home office, you're still going to have the ability to collaborate with colleagues, check knowledge, information, and be able to get up to speed on what you need to know, even if you're out in the field 95% of the time. In addition, we make sure that your mobile apps are going, and your technicians that are using them really, are going to follow consistent business processes and workflows. And so for those of you who are kind of managing the business from the home office, you're able to set up business processes that make sense for your particular business needs, establish those workflows, and ensure that your technicians are following those set of rules. We also include data validation so that you can make sure that you're reducing errors and helping make sure that compliance occurs, especially in industries like medical device or others where there are regulations that need to be followed. The other thing that Field Ready Mobile really means is device-appropriate functionality. And so you'll notice that we've built specific apps for iPad, iPhone, and Android, and we use the features that come with those devices. So when you're on your smartphone, whether it's an Android or an iPhone, you can make a one-touch phone call to the customer right from the work order. When you're on your iPad, you may want a larger landscape view of the map routes that the technician is going to take for the day because there's a landscape or real estate to be able to do that, and the use case for an iPad is a little bit different than the use case for an iPhone or an Android. And so we really try to take best advantage of the features that are on each device and have complementary mobile capabilities that can be used across all of these devices. And then last but certainly not least, configuring but not coding. And what we mean by that is with ServiceMax, we really are focused on allowing you to configure the application to work for your business needs and your business processes without having to build something from scratch or code it. And so what does that mean? It means it reduces implementation times, it reduces costs, and it reduces the number of people that need to be involved in creating something. You don't have to hire a third-party service firm just to build a custom field service application for yourself. Our application has lots of input, customer and market input that goes into it that's already pre-built for field service. All you need to do is set it up for your business. And with that setup process, our application is based on something that we call the Infinity Framework, which basically gets down to the point of you're going to be able to set up the configurations for your business on ServiceMax once and then deploy it across any mobile device. And so for Field Ready Mobile, the Infinity Framework is just saving you time, saving you effort, and making sure that there's a consistent experience for your business on any mobile device that you're using with us, whether it's mobile for laptop, iPad, iPhone, etc. ServiceMax is also really focused on helping you delight your customers. And I like to use this quote from Forrester's CEO, George Colony, and he says that the age of the customer is a 20-year business cycle in which the most successful companies will reinvent themselves to systematically understand and serve increasingly powerful customers. And I think the part about increasingly powerful customers is so true, because when you think about social media and all of the power that people have today to share references, share word of mouth about your business, whether positive or negative, that really will affect your customer loyalty, and it kind of goes to the core of the whole Net Promoter philosophy as well as customer satisfaction. So if your technicians are out there using ServiceMax, they're going to be able to have all of the information they need to be able to solve the problem correctly the first time. They're going to have the context to be able to go to your customer and sound informed about the products that are installed on their site. And they're also going to be able to capture information to be able to share upsell and cross-sell opportunity. And all of this is going to feed into the customer experience, and those customers are then going to go out and share their experiences with other people who are your prospective customers. And so as you start to meet these rising expectations of consumers and business customers out in the market, by using ServiceMax and Field Ready Mobile, our aim is to help you better delight and serve your customers. Okay, so now let's get into the details of the product capabilities with the Winter 15 release, which is our latest release of features for the ServiceMax suite and our mobile applications. So the first thing I want to talk about in a little bit more detail is our new Android smartphone app. And ServiceMax Mobile for Android is a fit for both your business and your field technicians. And the reason for that is quite simple. Android is very popular. A lot of people are using it as their personal consumer device, and so they're comfortable and familiar with using it. Also, Android just works on a lot more different mobile devices, and so your choices for hardware are a lot more varied, and the costs associated with them are lower in a lot of cases. And so when you're looking from an IT perspective about the cost to acquire mobile devices for your field service teams, Android is a cost-effective and also popular option. The other thing to consider is if you've got a global footprint, Android OS, or the operating system, has 85% of worldwide market share. And so whether you're based in the US, where Android is still quite popular, or have a more global footprint, you're going to look at Android as a device that's very ubiquitous and is only gaining in popularity. And so as we have introduced our Android smartphone app that Jay is going to show you in detail in a demo at the end of today's presentation, and we're about to introduce our Android app for tablets as well in our upcoming release, we're looking at Android as a very popular option for field service technicians to be able to do everything from checking all of the work order summary details, debriefing work orders, entering their parts, labor time, et cetera, being able to very quickly search for any parts, work orders, or other account information that needs to be found right on the customer site, and able to capture that customer signature right when they're out on the job site. And so with Android and ServiceMax, you're going to be able to do everything that you need to do at the customer site on a mobile device from a technician's perspective, using a mobile operating system that's very popular, easy to use, and it's something that has the possibility of being more cost-effective for your business. Okay, moving on to iPad. So our iPad app has actually been around since about 2009. It's one of the earliest adopted iPad and mobile applications for field service, period. And we're really proud of that because what it means is our customers have been adopting it and using it for years now, and we've collected all of that input from frontline users that are out there in the field servicing their customers on job sites, whether it's at an oil rig or in a hospital or just at a residential location. And so we understand kind of the nuances that come up when you're out there and you just need quick access to all of your customer information, work order information, and so on. And so our product management team has done a really great job collecting all of that important feedback and using it to completely update the redesign of ServiceMax Mobile for iPad. And so what you're going to find when you look into our iPad application is that the navigation is really slick. So you're going to be able to get around very easily. It's very intuitive, especially for folks who are comfortable using Apple devices. And even if you're not, the training for this is going to be really straightforward. And ServiceMax also does a great job of providing documentation and training information for our customers. The other thing you're going to note about our iPad app is that we actually partner with Apple to review the design for it. And so it's really up to date with regards to best practices for designing for Apple devices and iOS as well. And so that field-ready design for iPad is really well-equipped with all of the capabilities that you need, whether it's barcode scanning, searching, being able to access product manuals and troubleshooting information, and much more. As we move through the list of things that are included in our recent Winter 15 release, we're ready to talk about Dispatch Console and Workforce Optimization, which, as I know, is so critical to every single one of you on the call who has a field service organization. And so we take our investment in these feature sets very seriously, and we are continuing to make improvements in this area. The major enhancements for Winter 15 with regards to scheduling and workforce optimization are around creating long-term projects. So for those of you who are in industries where you really need to be able to schedule long-term service engagements, whether it's weeks to months, years, or longer, you're going to be able to do that very quickly and easily now within the ServiceMax Dispatch Console. And so it's just an improvement to be able to support those longer-term service engagements. It's also great if you're, say, dispatching an installation of a project that may take weeks or longer as well. We find that that's a very common use case among ServiceMax customers with longer-term installation projects. The other thing that's improved with the Dispatch Console this time around is all-day events. And so it's very easy to just check a box and be able to book an all-day event for 1 day or longer on a technician's calendar. With ServiceMax, our scheduling and workforce optimization capabilities are really quite deep, and you have a lot of options in terms of which way you want to go. So whether you want to use the Dispatch Console to manually schedule work orders, create batch process for scheduling work orders. You can also have a lot of options with regards to workforce optimization, whether you're more of a mid-sized business or a large enterprise customer. We have a lot of options with that. And that actually takes me to my next point, which is our Winter 15 release is also focused on improving the usability of our most powerful workforce optimization feature or product for largest enterprise customers, which is ServiceMax Links for Service Power. And this is an integration with Service Power that allows automated scheduling, workforce optimization, and dispatching that can manage the complexity of thousands of technicians, continuously optimizing routes and scheduling parts. And it's really great for large enterprises that have 2,000 or more employees. They may have medium to high daily service event volume and service event commitments, and a highly volatile or changing environment that has advanced optimization and planning needs. And so there's a lot that we're doing to improve the usability of this, including creating a calendar view for booking windows, allowing increased frequency of queries for near real-time work order changes within Service Power, and even creating a data lookup rule which allows greater configurability features that would otherwise require custom coding. And it's something that basically if you have a business rule that you need for calculating something such as importance or priority of work orders, you can now use our data lookup rule to start to create some of that advanced functionality. And so again, also focusing on greater configurability without the need to custom code. And so with workforce optimization, whether you look at ServiceMax Links for Service Power or our OptiMax solution, which is another great optimization choice, you have the ability to choose scheduling and dispatching capabilities that best meet your needs. Okay, looking at the last major enhancement for the Winter 15 release, it's our ServiceMax migration tool that's released for customers. And basically, this is a tool that we've enabled to allow our customers to be able to migrate their custom configurations between the test environment and production environment or vice versa very easily. And so it's something that's going to help improve the quality and confidence of your ServiceMax application, because as you're able to test custom configurations, make sure they work on sandbox, and then move them over to production, it's going to make it quicker for your implementation processes, ensure your quality and confidence as you roll this out to your internal teams. And we've really found a lot of interest and adoption of this by our customers, and so it's something that we definitely wanted to highlight in today's conversation. Okay. The last thing that I want to touch on with our Winter 15 release is just our online application and the deep field service capabilities that we already have. We're really focused on strengthening our end-to-end solution, and with that, we've introduced 2 enhancements to our service contracts that I'd like to touch on. The first is line-level SLAs, which just allow an additional level of granularity within your service contracts to be able to add SLAs, different SLAs for specific products or locations. And so you're going to have more flexibility and granularity when you're setting up your service contracts. And then looking at preventative maintenance agreements, you're going to now be able to assign those both to an installed product or to a location. And so when you're setting up a preventative maintenance agreement, you just have, again, additional flexibility. The other thing I wanted to touch on is Swedish language support. For those of you who have global operations, we've now added a 12th language to our online language languages that we support, and Swedish is now available across all of our platforms. And last but certainly not least, we are continually updating and optimizing our help content because documentation is so important with any software product. And so we have built out an updated section on mobile apps, and it really is in-depth and really well done. And so with ServiceMax, I just wanted to reiterate how important it is to make sure that we have the best help content and important and useful tips for you to be able to use the application as effectively and successfully as possible. Okay, that is an overview, a little bit about ServiceMax, a little bit about our field-ready mobile applications, and what's new in this latest Winter 15 release. So with this, I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Jay Kamshi, who's on our Solutions Consulting team, and he's going to walk you through a demonstration of some of the applications that I've talked about today. Jay?
Thank you very much, Melissa. Let me go ahead and share my screen, and you guys can see everything that I see. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. Here we go. You guys should be seeing my screen very quickly. All right. So here I am. I've logged into ServiceMax 15, and I'm looking at a particular account, one of my customers, Good Sam Hospital. One of the great things about our system is it's easy to find anything in the system using a Google-like search at the top. So I could search for Good Sam Hospital, and it would find it right there. I could search for a product. I can enter a serial number. I can search for pretty much anything in the system. Just like Google, you type in what you want, it finds it for you. So I've already brought up Good Samaritan Hospital. One of the first things you'll see is the ease of use of this system. For Winter 15, we've updated the look and feel so that it's very easy to spot what we call the Service Flow Manager up top here. This is steps in a process, and you can define it. So for a particular account, I might want to create a support case or create a work order, but maybe I just want to look at information on that account. The hover bars at the top show me contacts at the hospital, locations where we've done work before, and what all their installed products are. I can also see what their contracts are, and I can see that I've got 2 contracts, and if we go ahead and take a look at this one right here, I can drill into the details on that contract. So we'll open up the details on the contract, and the system will pull it up. You can tell the entire system is based on the interface, the browser interface. So if somebody knows how to surf the web, they already know how to surf this system. Here we've drilled into GSH Contract 2015. And I've got a variety of coverages, pricing rules, and all types of pricing and discounting that I can set up on the system, on our system. One of the details and differentiators of our system from others is that we've got full and complete contract coverage. This is not a simple contract system. This allows you to handle complex contracts with multiple levels of coverage. So, for example, you might have a 1-year warranty on the entire system that you're selling, but maybe there's a 5-year warranty on a particular part, like a motor or something along those lines. I like to think of it like as a car. You know, there might be a 12,000-mile 1-year warranty on the car, but perhaps there's a 5-year warranty on the drivetrain or the emission system. So we'll go ahead and pull that up, and I can go ahead and specify what the different coverages are inside of my system. One of the great things about our system, again on the idea of full and complete contracts, is that we can handle both warranties and contracts, not just one or the other. And you know what? I'm not sure what's going on here. This usually comes up a lot quicker, so let me go ahead and go back real quick and pull that again. Oh, there it is. I was just a little bit impatient. Let me try that one more time. All right, so go ahead and edit the coverages here. So I might have on my contract many different products that are covered, and perhaps somebody sold a new product and we're going to add it to this contract. The original contract was set up at the original sale. It had 5, 6, 10, however many products were on the original sales order, and we're going to go ahead and add a new one. So we will do that right here. Here's the contract details. You can see start date, end date, what the billing schedule is, other information, and down at the bottom I have what products are covered, what services are covered, locations, who's entitled to call for help, planned maintenance, which is all included inside of our contract system. I'm going to go ahead and add a line because we've just sold something new, and I'm going to go ahead and add an installed product. I can search, limit that search to everything inside of this customer's sales record, and make this a little bit bigger so we can all read it. And what they've added is this display unit right here. Okay, and notice that everything else had platinum terms, but the terms can differ for different items that they own. So in this case, I'm going to give them gold terms because that's all they bought. They didn't need the platinum terms for the display unit. Go ahead and add the start date and the end date. So let's see, they bought it yesterday, and it's going to go and be co-terminated at the end of the year, 12/31/2015. So that was pretty easy. Let's just go ahead and save that, and we're going to save it and update the coverages. There it is, right here under covered products. And this is the one that we added. This is the one that has gold terms. In addition to the contract coverage inside the system, we allow you to capture the installed product database. And one of the things that's special about the installed product database that many of our customers and inside of our system is that we're tracking the service bill of materials. Now this can have as many levels deep as you want, so that when somebody goes out, they know what are the different components that they might need to bring on a first trip. So here's that display unit 1. This is the one that we just added gold coverage on. All right. Let's fast forward to a different day. The customer calls. They have a product with the display unit. So we are going to go ahead and create a work order. Here's where the ease of use workflow steps come in. Maybe I might create a support case if I know I'm not going to have to go out. Maybe I can diagnose something over the phone. But based on what the customer told me, this display unit is not coming up. It needs someone to go out there and take a look at it. I can create a work order just by pressing a button. Now those steps, those workflow steps, are entirely configurable by you. And it turns out that maintenance is covered under their contract. So let's just use one of their scheduled service entitlements to go out there and take a look. We'll do the repair. We'll do some planned maintenance at the same time. So planned maintenance, and look at display performance. This checkbox right here, real important. the system will automatically look to see if this is covered under contract or not. It'll associate the appropriate contract terms, which include things such as pricing and discount. So I've created a work order. It's work order 3300. And it has automatically attached the proper contract and those gold terms that I set up just a few minutes ago. So it knows this is gold on this product, not platinum, as it is for the other product. So I've created a work order, and now I'm going to go ahead and dispatch it. Another button, front and center for the user. We make those big blue buttons, right? Easy to use right there, so that the user who's trying to get their job done knows what to do. They don't have to be an expert in computer science. They just have to press the big button in front of them. I've decided I'm going to dispatch it, so I'm pulling up the dispatch console. Up top, I've got the work order, 3300, that we're going to dispatch. Down below, I've got my teams and their schedules. On the right, I've got an integrated Google Map. I can find the right teams and technicians by geography and skill set. So notice what happens to my list of technicians. I'm going to make that bigger. Notice what happens here to this list of technicians when I say find technicians. It gets smaller. It's only showing me the people with the right skills on their technician record. And it also displays where people are in real time based on information from their mobile device on the map. The plus sign indicates the location of the work order. The little Lego men indicate where different technicians are located. As it turns out, Scott Techman is free for today. Let me drill in here. And he's one of the technicians who has the right skill set. So to schedule, I will drag and drop onto the calendar. Now there's more than one way to schedule. I can schedule interactively, which is drag and drop. I can schedule in an optimized way using Optimax or ServicePower, our route optimization option. And I can also just put somebody's name on it very manually. Lots of ways of doing the scheduling. One of the new things for Winter 15 is the ability to schedule an all-day event with just a click. And now we're going to schedule this for today, 1/22. Oh, and by the way, if the customer calls and says, you know what, you need to raise the priority from medium to high because I'm now dead in the water, you can make a quick note without having to go back to the record. So I hit save, and now I have this all-day event for Scott right here, Good Sam Hospital. You can see that this is color-coded. It changed to high and red. It changed to red when I made the priority high. It was yellow. And I don't have to schedule things just one by one. Most of our customers work off of a queue, something like this. At a glance, dispatchers and service coordinators can see in a color-coded fashion, very visual, all of the work orders that they need to work with. What's assigned, what's new, what's not assigned, in a very configurable fashion. Something that's new in Winter 15 is the ability to easily schedule extended projects. So I'm going to go ahead and make my calendar show me a little bit more. From January out to March, and you can see that I've got a multi-week project here, Good Sam Hospital, on our dispatch calendar. So whether you're scheduling installations and long projects or multiple service jobs or maintenance jobs throughout the day, it's a system that is very easy to use and will work for you. The dispatch console and ease of use is one of the key features of our system. It's the reason people buy it. Okay, so I've talked a little bit about somebody setting up the contract. That might be the contract coordinator. I've talked a little bit about the phone person getting the call and creating the work order, sending it out for dispatch. I've talked about the dispatch console. Let's talk about how the technician would pick the job up. So I am going to be a technician. I'm going to switch my screens over in just a second here. And you will see what that looks like to the technician. So This is our Android application. Make that bigger for you. ServiceMax Mobile for Android. One of the key differentiators of our system is that it works offline and online. When we say field-ready mobile, I want you guys to think offline, because not every mobile app that's out there from some of the competitors work offline. If you have to be online and you're working in a business where you're in the basement of a hospital, if you're inside of, the lead line vaults that ultrasounds are, for example, for medical devices and other things, if you're working out in the field, if you're in oil and gas and you're way, way far away from connectivity, you need something which works offline. And so this will sync, and you don't have to wait for it to sync. It'll just sync in the background. You can also sync automatically. And what it will do is it'll allow you to flip through and do the rest of your work. So I can go ahead and check on my Android, my monthly calendar. I can see different jobs. I can do things like accept jobs. So let me drill in on, say, the 23rd, tomorrow. I can open up a job like Good Sam Hospital. And as a technician, maybe I don't want to pull out my laptop or my iPad or my big tablet just to take a quick look. I can do that on my iPhone or my Android, and the Android is new for Winter 15. So I can go ahead and open up those steps. This is the SFM, Service Flow Manager steps, and do things like make it read-write and accept the job. So you can see I've already accepted this one. When I get on site, when I start travel, different things, I can go ahead and say, hey, I'm on site. So that the dispatchers, the service coordinators, and others in the headquarters or the main office can know exactly where technicians are based on real-time feedback. When they're offline, technicians can change things on the app. When they're within connectivity, it will send that information back. All right, so let me hit save. And it saves successfully. I can do everything pretty much that, well, most of the things that I can do, I should say everything because I don't want to oversell it. But the things that I can do on my iPad or my Android tablet, I can do on my iPhone or my Android phone. So I can do things like print service reports and capture signatures, and have these things automatically be emailed to the customer. So the customer, you can say, hey, please sign if this is cool, even if you only have an Android. So this might be Scott, customer. All right. Optionally, you can get the technician signature as well. And when I hit done, the system can automatically email that service report back to the customer. So this is the Android. All right, let's see, what else can we do? Well, let me show you what it looks like on the iPad. So maybe the technician only used the phone to say, hey, I'm on site, or to check what their jobs are, and they just want to look at it quickly without pulling out the bigger machine. Sometimes people have both a phone and a tablet. And so here's what it might look like on the tablet. I am going to switch over to the tablet. Here's the tablet. Tablet also works offline, a key differentiator. All of our mobile apps, whether it's on the laptop, a tablet, a phone, iOS, or Android, they will all work offline. And that's why we say this is field-ready mobile. Notice that it looks very similar whether you're on the Android or the iPhone or the iPad. So, here's the iPad. I can see my calendar information. I can see it for the month. I can see it for the day. I can look at details of the work order just by clicking on the work order for the day. Very slick, very easy to use. Really easy to use. I can go ahead and see it in even more detail with just a click right here. So we can pull it in, and we can do different things with this. So this is a PM job. I can go ahead and on the iPad, maybe I am looking at it and I want to pull up information inside. Oh, sorry. Wouldn't be a demo if there wasn't at least one mistake. Let me pull up information related to troubleshooting. So I can pull up troubleshooting information real quick. Hold on 1 second on that one. Okay. I can pull up troubleshooting information such as videos or manuals that can be downloaded offline to the iPad. I can go ahead and debrief a particular job with my actions right here, which makes it live and read-write. I can debrief information related to the fact that I'm now on site. I can say what I did, work performed. Replaced adapter. I can use the voice recognition features of the tablet or the phone to fill things out if my hands are full or if I'm wearing gloves. Capture information about how things are fixed. The root cause analysis. I can even capture information that gets fed back to the sales team. Have sales call customer. And probably the most important thing is I can add parts, labor, expense, and other line items. Quickly add a part using lookup on my offline electronic catalog. And the system can look up the price, if there is a price, if it's not covered under their contract. But it'll look up whether or not it's billable or not. We can add as many parts as we want. It's very forgiving. If you make a mistake, you can remove an error. Hit save. And we filled it out. So here we have the auxiliary adapter and the line item. And we can go about taking a look at other information on the product. So we can always see problems, account history. So various problems that the system has had. Problems at the account, problems with the product. Other important things people like to do would be to take pictures or videos, which you can add from already taken pictures, or you can take a new one. You can also take a video, which allows you to capture sound if there's strange noises that the system's making. A lot of our customers will do before and after pictures, and then this is shown to the customer to help show the value of what your service is bringing them. Very useful for customer satisfaction, also useful at renewal time. All right. So let me cancel that, and I'm going to capture a signature on the iPad as well. Just to show you that it doesn't matter whether you're on an iPad, an Android tablet, an Android phone, an iPhone. You can do the same thing. Finalize that contract, and it can automatically send it off to the customer. Setting up those output documents is entirely configurable. Everything on this page is entirely configurable. If there are fields that we haven't added, you can add them. If you want to take out fields, take out fields. All of our customers customize their forms into our system. Basically, our system is designed so that you can put your forms in us. You don't have to do what we tell you to do. Make the software match your business process. Don't change your business to match the software. So at that point, I can go ahead and take a look at the rest of my jobs for the week, for the month, and I can move on to the rest of what I need to do. Or I can go home. So let's say I'm done for the day as a technician. I'm going to come back into the main system, and I can go ahead and, as a manager now, see various reports and dashboards. So there are a lot of dashboards that are built in. You can see some of them here. As a manager, I have the ability to report on anything in the system. So anything captured in the system can come out in a report. Anything in can come out. So you can generate dashboards that show exactly the types of metrics that you need, such as first-time fix rate, mean time to repair, utilization, work order status, and then these are live. You can click into them, and then you can see the details, either in summary fashion or with whatever details you want, and then you could drill into a particular work order. This one's open. Let's say it's open and stuck. You want to drill in and see the details? Click on it, and you can see the detail for the particular work order. With just a couple of clicks, you can get to the details from the high-level chart. The system can automatically create these dashboards and mail them to you, email them as PDF, or you can come in live and in real time take a look at the data as it changes throughout the day. Visibility and analytics is another key differentiator of our system. The ease of creating reports, the ease of creating dashboards, and the customizability and configurability of them are important reasons why people choose our software over competitors. So I've shown you a lot of our system. I hope this is enough to get you interested. If you have any other questions, I am happy to answer them in the Q&A session. Melissa, back to you.
Okay, thank you, Jay. We do have a slew of questions coming in, so we'll see what we can get to here over the next 5 minutes. If we're unable to address your questions, we will contact you after the fact and follow up with you for sure. So there had been a question about availability of ServiceMax working on mobile laptops, and yes, indeed, we do have that offering at ServiceMax Mobile for laptops, so that despite all these cool new devices, we understand that sometimes laptops are still needed, and so we do offer that as well. Okay, so going through some other questions here. How far in advance can a field service engineer view their schedule? Is it a day, a week, a month?
Yeah, it's unlimited. Well, actually, it's configurable. Some of our customers only want the technicians to have a drip feed, so they only get a job at a time. When they finish a job, they get their next job. So that's a configuration. But you can also let them see as far into the future as you want. And
okay,
it's configurable in terms of how much data you want to download. So that's another configuration. So you're not totally filling up their hard drive.
And then from the same person about field service engineers being scheduled for execution of parallel tasks?
That's possible. Not a problem.
Okay. We have so much ability to configure. It's great. I think, so how does ServiceMax comply with requirements around dispatch for medical devices?
Well, we've got a lot of medical device customers. It's one of our key customer sectors. So I need to know a little bit more about the details of the question. But if you want, you can follow up with us through email or after the call.
Okay. Just scrolling through here. So there are questions about sort of limits. They're asking about whether or not a contract can have, say, 30,000 lines, if they can have 70,000 pieces of equipment. So around the limits available in our solution?
Yeah, so I mean, contracts can have, you know, I have to look and get confirmation on this, but I think 30,000 lines is entirely possible. However, I would want to work with that customer a little bit more to talk to them about the specific use case, because sometimes when you've got a contract with 30,000 lines, it's not as usable for the technician. So it sometimes makes sense to give them a more limited view. But I don't believe there's any limitations in the product around that. We would just kind of want to talk to them. Maybe we've got some ideas that we could share with them around best practices if it's possible to limit what the user sees. And then 70,000 pieces of equipment is not a problem at all. We've got customers who have hundreds of thousands of pieces of equipment in the installed product base, you know. Actually, I think we've got some who've got 1 million.
Wow. Okay, good. As it relates to data syncing for iPad, maybe you can talk about, you know, how quickly that happens, how often.
Yeah, so data syncing for iPad and for all the mobile devices is configurable and it's optimized. So there are different syncs depending on what needs to happen. There's the configuration sync, which would be like the layouts of the screens and the workflow steps that you've configured. That doesn't need to happen as often as just the data, like the appointments sync. So you can configure these to sync at different times. It might be, say, daily for the configuration, and maybe every 2 hours, or you know, even sooner, every hour for the events and the data. So that is configurable. It can be pushed to the device, or it could be a pull where the technician says, hey, I need something right now. You know, maybe they got a call that there was an emergency update and they want to pull it in. So it can be push or pull. And we've done a lot of work to optimize that and make these things very, very fast. So we call it the aggressive sync algorithm, where we're as far as we can do it, we're only syncing the updates, not syncing everything. And then you've got a lot of control as an administrator over what syncs, so that limits the amount of bandwidth that's used too. Kind of an involved answer, just to say that we've got a lot of flexibility around those syncs, and we've got a lot of tools that we give you for making them fast, in addition to the optimization we've done to make them fast.
Okay, great. Thank you, Jay. And our final question here, because we just want to, I know we want to be cognizant of everybody's time, and so the last question is, does ServiceMax interface with a company's ERP system, or do we need to input all products, pricing, et cetera?
So the answer is yes, we integrate with ERP. So every single one of our customers wants to bill for the service orders that they complete. And so it always has to get back into an ERP. The installed base information is usually coming from an ERP. So we almost always integrate with an ERP. We use third-party products to do that typically. You know, or one can do it with imports from Excel or CSV. But it's a question that comes up on every customer engagement, and we always do it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Jay. And as I said, we will follow up with anybody whose questions we were not able to address. Just a final note here, thank you for joining us. We do have a couple of upcoming events. If you are in the Chicago area or traveling to either of these industry events, we are going to be at the AHR Expo in Chicago next week, and we'll be hosting a ServiceMax dinner called DISH. Those are our field marketing dinners. It's taking place next week. You can go to our event section of our website to register. We've got just a couple spots left. And then also, for those of you in the medical device industry, we will be part of Field Service Medical in San Diego at the end of February, and we'll also host a dinner there. We welcome you to attend. They're great networking events to talk with your peers and other ServiceMax customers. So look for those on our events page. And thank you again for attending another ServiceMax webinar, and look forward to talking with you in the future. Take care.
The leader has disconnected. The conference will be terminated in 5 minutes.